Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you guys are doing well today. We're coming back with another watches that I found in the Delta Lounge while traveling. It's been, I want to say 2 months since our last video where we do this. Normally we do this on our monthly cadence, but my travel is slowly ramping back up, and so I didn't actually see a ton of watches over the last couple months. Like I said in the last video where we covered some of the watches that we saw in our travels, people are wearing smartwatches. It's not very common that you look at someone's wrist and you're able to see some watches, but I did see, I want to call out 3 watches that I ended up seeing this last month. 2 of them are, I don't want to say basic, but you know, nothing interesting. The one of them is fairly interesting to talk about. It's a brand that was really popular a little while ago, but still creates some really cool watches, and so I thought I would talk about those watches. If you don't know sort of this format, I do a lot of traveling, and so of course as a watch enthusiast I'm looking at individuals' wrists that I see in the airports and on the planes, and in the, you know, I do go to lounges. It's a benefit of one of my credit cards, and I just enjoy you know, it's a good stop off and worth the investment if I am traveling so much, to sort of go there and, you know, have something to eat and just relax a little bit. So besides the point, we're talking about watches here, but when I do go and I travel a lot, I'm able to see people's the watches that decide to wear on their travels. It's something that I obviously think is really important when you're doing it. And so I just talk through some of the watches I've seen, and I'll put up some pictures of the watches that I saw. So we've done this a ton in the past. This is one of probably my favorite series on this channel that I do. So we have a playlist, you can check out all of them. We've seen some pretty cool watches over the last 2 years. So we're going to be talking about 3 watches in this video. I'm going to start with the more exciting one and then sort of go to the other 2 that I mentioned. The first watch that I saw while traveling was not something you see very often. It was a Franck Muller. As I mentioned sort of in the intro, Franck Muller is a brand that was very popular. A couple of years ago. It was like the big thing to buy. In my opinion, it's sort of like Richard Mille, like it was the brand for a watch enthusiast to buy. And you know, not as popular as it was, but still holds a really great sort of place in a watch enthusiast's mind. The watch that I saw was a Franck Muller Long Island Color Dreams. It was very easy to see this watch. I was actually walking to my gate, and as I was walking, someone was coming off of a plane, and as they were walking, I just saw this big burst of color in my eyes, and I was like, ooh, what is that? And it was this watch. So the watch itself is a black case, and then the biggest thing with this watch is, as the name sort of alludes to with the Color Dreams, you've got these big exploded numerals on the dial of this watch, and then you've got this really like huge amount of color in each of these numerals. They're different, each numeral is a different color, and obviously it's very attractive to the eye. So as soon as I just was walking, sort of looking at people's wrists, and as soon as I saw color, I was like, okay, this is a watch I gotta take a look at. It's an automatic watch, fairly large, 45 by 32 millimeters. So you know, as far as like the height of, or I guess the length of this watch, 45 millimeters is quite big. So probably wouldn't fit my wrist. It'd probably hang off a little bit, but it fit this individual's wrist. Black PVD coated case, white gold. It's a white gold case with a PVD finish, which I think is an interesting choice. Black dial, black leather strap, and then you have these, you know, crazy hour markers. Complications are really just hours and minutes. Very simple sort of complication side of things. But a really attractive watch. So this was the first watch, one of the first watches I wanted to discuss, but the watch that really was like, I don't see this watch very often. I don't think I've ever actually seen someone wear this watch, ever. So it was cool to see this and sort of add it to the collection of watches that we've seen in this series. Moving on to the other 2 watches, they're both Rolexes. I think watch enthusiasts nowadays really go to specific brands, and Rolex is one of them. And so first watch I saw was really basic. It was a Rolex Submariner. I'm actually not sure the reference. It was a 4-liner, no date 4-liner. I prefer the no date to the date. I think it's a little bit more true to the original Submariner. I personally like the 14060M 2-liner Submariner. It's to me, it's like the best modern Submariner that was ever created because it was so close to the original. But it was a 4-liner, no date. It's a Rolex Submariner. There's not much to talk about when it comes to this watch. I think every businessman sort of looks at a Rolex Submariner as a great watch for them to buy. It's a great choice, no matter who you are. Cool watch, watch to see. The other watch was another Rolex, but this one was a little bit more interesting. This was a two-tone Rolex GMT Master 2. This was the 116713LN. It was the two-toned steel and yellow gold, steel and yellow gold GMT with a black dial and then, you know, gold and black bezel with sort of a gold and black tone to it. This is a cool watch. I thought this was a little bit more interesting to see. You know, you see a lot of Rolex Submariners, and so when I saw this, I was like, oh, it's probably just another Submariner. But notice it was a this GMT Master. So this watch is a GMT. It has a GMT complication on it, hours, minutes, seconds, and a date complication at 3 o'clock. I think the GMT is a great travel piece if you are going between time zones. I think it's a great watch to sort of go between the places that you're traveling. You can have it at your home and then wherever you're going to. One of the things I really like about this version, the two-tone actually looks really nice, especially with the black dial in my opinion. And then the other thing I really love is the GMT hand. I love the fact that it's green. For some reason, the green goes really nicely with the black and gold sort of motif that this watch has, and I really love it. This is the watch that I was like, okay, you're not a Submariner person. I think you've put it in a little bit more thought into the watch that you decided to buy to travel with. So I really like this. Again, the reference is the 116713LN. Obviously there's gonna be pictures while I'm sort of talking through this. Great watch, great decision by the collector who decided to do that. I way prefer this watch to the Rolex Submariner. Not saying that it's, you know, the Rolex Submariner is a bad watch in any stretch of the imagination. I just think it's a little bit more unique. And I think watch collecting can get a little bit repetitive if you find your aesthetic and that's the only aesthetic you're gonna go to. So yeah, those are really the watches. Like I said in the beginning, you know, a lot of people wearing smartwatches. It's very uncommon now to see people wearing wristwatches, and just a you know, fact of watch collecting. I think it's just going in that direction. So yeah, so the three watches, just to recap, the first one was a Franck Muller Long Island Color Dreams. The second was a Rolex Submariner. It was a 4-liner. I don't know what the reference was, and then the Rolex GMT Master 2 was the third one. So cool selection of watches. I enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I'm sort of getting back into the travel side of things. It's something that for me is very important, and so I'm glad I'm sort of getting back into it, and it allows me to do some watch spotting along the way. If you like these types of videos, be sure to check out our channel, or I guess our playlist, where we have other sort of watch spotting videos during our travels. We've done a ton, so be sure to check those out. If you like these types of videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and comment below which one of these is your favorite and what watch has been accompanying you on your travels. I'd love to know, so put that in the comments as well. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for us, videos help us out with the YouTube analytics. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time.